What is going on? You're checking out an all new the RCWR show coming at you for a Monday night of February the 17th, 2020. We are just a couple of minutes removed, about almost 3 minutes removed, now 3 minutes, since WWE RAW had went off the air. I told you guys we were going to be coming on at 11:05, but honestly, I had everything nice and set up, ready to go. I'm trying to get into the regular habit of setting up the stream hours beforehand and everything. So really hope you guys have been appreciating it, because this is our second consecutive show in a row that I have taken the time out hours before to get everything set up. That way we can officially begin on time, right? So it's kind of nice to have the show officially begin on time and it can end on time, basically, rather as opposed to hiccups here and there. Now, normally I like to come on here sometimes and I tell you guys, short show. I do want to try to do my best to do a short show tonight because I've been dealing with a nasty head cold all President's Day weekend long, right? So it kind of sucks, but I remember I was kind of feeling emotions when I was putting together the Slow Jamming with Lee special. By the way, I do appreciate everybody that went out of their way to check out the 7th annual Slow Jamming with Lee special event. If you have missed it, it is available on demand and on the downloads. I kicked back for about, almost 3 hours playing some of the smoothest, tightest music that's out there. I always get compliments on those slow jamming specials, and this one was definitely no different. So check that out if you guys get a chance. But yeah, I remember I was feeling a little bit around that period, and it seemed to get a little bit worse going into the weekend. And other than the binge watching that I was able to do on TV, for TV and everything, getting prepared to do Monday's show and everything, I mostly was kicking back, catching up on sleep. That's how out of it I was. So I do want to try to have this be about a 75-minute, 80-minute show, and whatever we're not able to get into, we'll definitely have the Wednesday night show, right? Because the Wednesday night show, we go a little bit longer anyway, as always, since we come on earlier, right? So forgive me at least for this Monday if we have this be a short show for now, but we got a lot of groundwork we can definitely get into while I'm on here with you guys. So let's go ahead and let's have at it. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. There was a lot of stuff that was going on this weekend, and look, I will definitely be bringing up a lot of wrestling little tidbits and everything like that. I mean, we don't have to just really jump right into Raw off the break. We can kind of kick back a little bit, shoot the shit or whatnot. But, I'll give you guys the key points on tonight's Raw for sure. Give you guys some thoughts overall. But this was a very busy weekend, because if you really stop and think about it, on top of Valentine's Day and slash Valentine's Day weekend, we also had the 2020 NBA AllStar, right? That went down Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then Sunday, we had the XFL games, right? So there was a lot of stuff going on this weekend, right? I know for some of you MMA fans, there was a little something going on as well. If you were into boxing, there was something going on as well. But your main heavyweights there are the things I had mentioned just a few seconds ago, minus those last couple there in the ladder. So to try to stay focused and check all of that out, I can imagine it was probably a little bit challenging for some people. Luckily, I didn't have that problem whatsoever. I actually was able to watch any and everything all throughout the weekend because I had the house to myself, as the missus and my mother-in-law, or soon-to-be mother-in-law, they actually went out of town. They went further down south, a couple hours away from D.C. area, as there was a relative that had suffered a stroke. And it was crazy. It was crazy because the more information I have found out about the relative that had the stroke, the more I couldn't help but go, man, somebody was really looking out for her. So she's in her mid 60s, I think she's around 65, maybe 66, but definitely in her mid 60s. Petite little thing. I asked her, I said, is she a big girl, or, what's going on? He's like, no, she's petite. She's very petite, very small. I'm like, wow, okay. But yeah, apparently she went outside, started her car. I guess she was getting ready to go run some errands. Wasn't feeling well. She felt a pounding headache, and she felt a little bit of numbness going on in her left arm, fingertips, and all that. Her legs felt extremely, extremely tired. They felt weak. So she thought maybe all she needed to do was just kick back and catch up on some rest. One of her eyes was hurting as well. I mean, just I mean, it was like, wow, well, those were your freaking warning signs right there. But she just thought she needed sleep. So she actually had, went lay down and everything. And her husband, I forgot what he does. I want to say he actually helps out arranging funerals or something of that nature. He does something in regards to the funeral industry or whatever, but he actually had wrapped up his business affairs couple of hours early, and he actually decided to come on home and everything. And it was actually pretty good when he did, because originally, he wasn't supposed to. He was supposed to be home for many hours, but because he was able to get home pretty early, it's good that he did, because when he gets there, first thing he notices is the car is running. And remember what I just told you. So the car's running. And he goes in, checks in on her, and says, "Hey, what's going on? Why is the car running? What's going on?" And she couldn't even remember why the car was running. We're talking a couple hours later, but she couldn't remember why the car was running. And so he checked her out, checked her vitals, and okay, this doesn't sound good. Let's get you to the hospital. So yeah, apparently she had suffered a damn stroke without realizing it. And they did have to do emergency surgery on her and everything. And happy to say she's out of the hospital now. She's at home. She's resting. And they gave her some medicine and everything. So, the family had went and, stayed with them for a couple of days, making sure everything was okay and whatnot. So I had the place to myself, so I was able to, catch up on a little bit of stuff. But my thoughts and prayers was definitely with them and everything, especially with my woman, because this was actually a aunt that she really, really, really loves and respects and everything. So if it wasn't for the NXT stuff and, a whole bunch of other, things that was going on, I probably would have gone with her. But, so it's good to hear that, even though she had the stroke, still they were able to get her to the hospital. She wasn't being stubborn, because she might not even be here today if she had remained stubborn in any type of way and declined going to the hospital and all that. She might not be here right now. So just pays to show you guys that hey, listen to your body, right? And I know that for some of us when we're young, we're undefeated, but telling you, when something does not feel quite right, you really want to go get that checked out ASAP. It's better to be safe than sorry. So, but I'm a little bit bummed out. I'm a little bit bummed out because they actually had came back earlier tonight, and my girl says to me, "I'm going to need your help from here on out." And I'm going, "Oh shit, what's going on now?" And she goes, no, it's nothing. You didn't do anything wrong. Just listen. I'm like, okay. So, short version. So it turns out, while the girls were away, one of our cars was broken into. And, we have our own home, so, we got 2 parking spots, just like all the other homes in the area. It's assigned parking spots and everything. And so when the girls had left, one of the cars had stayed behind, and normally, as they always do, I check outside, peek through the blinds, make sure everything looks pretty good to go, let the dog out, and I'm able to see the car and everything like that. And there was probably only one day out of the break where I noticed that there was another car, actually 2 times now that I think about it. One was during the day and the other one was at night. There's 2 instances where another vehicle had pulled up next to, one of our cars. And, I didn't, think anything much of it. Normally we got neighbors that when they see, I don't know what it is, you guys could probably relate. I don't know what it is, but it seems like you get those particular neighbors, whether they're trying to bring some stuff in or they think they're going to be in, doing what they need to do for about less than 5 minutes. They think they can just go ahead, park in your spot and go do what they need to do or whatever. And when you don't nip that in the bud, it becomes very ugly. It becomes a situation where somebody thinks that that's in their due, right? And that just, if you watch enough of those Fear Thy Neighbor and all that other stuff, that's on ID, man. You just go, look, I don't want no problems. But there was two instances where somebody had parked right next to one of our cars and everything, since we had a free spot available and everything. And apparently somebody went into the car and they stole $100 gift card that my girl had in there. And I was livid when she told me this. I said, wait a minute. So how were they able to get, like, I don't understand this, because, I didn't have to deal with work over the weekend and everything. And to make sure that the slow jamming special went off without a hitch, I went on ahead, used a personal day, and I took Friday off and everything. So I'm going, well, wait a minute, because the girls didn't leave until Saturday morning. So that just essentially meant I just had to, make sure everything was okay with the car and everything, pretty much from Saturday afternoon on till when they got back. So it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck happened? I'm like, did you set your alarm? Because something doesn't seem to make any sense, right? I can hear when the car alarms for either one of those goes off. I'm a light sleeper anyway, and I'm usually the last one to go to bed. So I would have heard that. So I'm going, well, was the alarm even set on the car? And she goes, doesn't seem that it was. I'm like, well, was the car broken into? No. Like, okay, and you tested the car out? Yep. Tested the doors, everything 5 times. From what I was able to tell initially, it looks like the door was jarred a bit. Meaning I did not secure the car properly and I didn't lock it down. And so, I was pretty pissed off, not at my girl, just of the situation, but, not for nothing. I did tell her, I don't know what's going on. Like, I know she busts her ass like I do, but she works even more harder than I do with her profession that she's in. And a lot of times when she gets off from work, she's pretty burned out. That's the gospel on the truth. She's pretty much burned out. So there's been a handful of times, almost in the double digits, where I've maybe rode shotgun with her. We get out the car, we're going to go into the house, and I say to her, "Hun, aren't you forgetting something?" And she's like, what? Hey, lock the car. Oh, yeah. Lock the car. And I've been noticing within the past maybe 2 months for sure, I've been saying that to her a lot more. And so I'm pretty sure that Friday night when she got in from work, and I remember how exhausted she was because I actually made her dinner, and usually I'll say, did you lock the car? And she'll usually, yeah, and it's kind of like, okay, I know you're, and I'll say to her, I know you're trying to shut me up, but seriously, did you secure the car? Like, yeah, I did. And it's like, so the one time she did not secure the car. But just think about that. Think about how brazen that is, right? In a residential complex. We're not talking about apartments. We're not talking about condos or anything like that. We're talking about, standalone homes. Just think about that. Standalone homes. Some attached homes, but for the most part, detached homes that are assigned parking spots, right? It says reserved and everything. And somebody is brazen enough to go into your vehicle, literally right in front of your home and do something like that. And, and I told her, I said, "Hon," I was like, first off, you getting, and I tell anybody this, and I can't stress it enough. It's nice that we got these gadgets and all that can securely lock our car and everything like that. But you notice if you had even bothered taking driving lessons, what do they teach you in driving school? They tell you, hey, just because you do your thing with the car alarm, oh, it's secured. No, make it a habit to check the doors manually, physically go out of your way, check the doors and everything, make sure everything is on point, right? And so, I guess whoever did what they did, they were pretty fucking excited because it turns out, just to make this story even more what the fuck, it turns out she had all of her personal identification in there, all that, right? And luckily that was not taken. The only thing that was taken was just the gift card for $100. And it was like, and we had plans for that because we had needed to do a little bit of fine tuning with the car and everything leading up to the wedding, because we're actually going to be driving for the wedding in May and everything. So she really, really beat herself up over it. And I told her, there's nothing, as I would tell anybody, like, it is what it is. Like, you can't do anything now. It's over and done with. The best thing you can do is just learn from that experience and double up, make sure something like that doesn't ever happen again. So, I told her, I can relate. I was like, I can relate. I was like, and I'm sure you guys remember that time when we did the WWE Supercard contest, and not this past one. Think of the one from 2 years ago, right? Remember when we were going to give away, so that would have been, let me think for a second. So I believe that would have been, so not 2K20, so that would have been 2K19. I'm trying to think who was part of 2K19 for the super cards. It'll come to me probably when I'm off there. And that's sad because I played this game so many times. But my point is, I did a unboxing video for 2K19, and I didn't notice because Tams was recording, right? And so I'm thinking everything was good, and I didn't realize it until I played the video back. It rendered. I've already uploaded it. Oh shit, you got the QR code showing, right? And so, I don't think nothing too much of it because it went by so quick. It was like half a second basically that the QR code went past. I don't think nothing much of it. So I'm trying to do the contest and everything. And next thing I know, I don't know what it was, but something had said, that really does not look good. Check to see if that QR code works. And if it turns out it does work, well then obviously you're claiming it. You're going to have to remove that prize and put something in its place, right? And when I scanned it, I got a message that basically said, hey, this has already been claimed. So it was like, oh, motherfucker, so I remember how upset I was, how I was beating myself up and I was in a funk and everything like that. So I told you, shit like that happens. Like, you can't, it's not like it was a credit card. It's not like it was a checking account with information. It's like, it's a gift card. It's like, it sucks, especially because you knew what you're going to be doing with that money and everything. But, my message to her and my message to everybody that's out there that's driving, I can't stress it enough, man. Make sure that when you get out of your car, even in your own fucking neighborhood, I don't care how nice that neighborhood is, man. I don't care how friendly your neighbors are or whatever, right? I don't care about all of that. Nothing means a damn thing to me. Make sure that your vehicle is secured, ain't no problems, right? Make sure as far as personal belongings, collectible things or whatever, right? Items that you don't think are valuable, make sure you get them out so that, it's better to be safe than sorry, right? And so, knock on wood, it's like, on the one hand, we still got the car, because it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a situation where whoever who had helped themselves into the car, they could have easily, if they knew how to do it, let me hotwire this motherfucker and let me roll out, right? So it is what it is, man. But that just, I definitely was rattled by that. I was rattled by that. So for those of you, so what's this about? You're gonna have to help her. So basically now the new game plan, she's gonna do what she normally does, but add on top of my suggestions, my heated suggestions at that, what I've been saying to her for months. She's now going to get into the habit of physically checking the car. But now I got to put in rotation before I go to sleep. Let me make sure the cars are okay for the night. That way everything's good to go. So I don't really mind it. That's not really putting me in any type of an inconvenience whatsoever, right? It's right there. It's only a few seconds. So I actually don't mind that. But, aside from those little things, weekend for me overall, definitely pretty good. Raw seemed like tonight it was a bit better than last week, but still almost kind of going through the motions, I would have to say, right? I still felt as though tonight what was going on with Raw was more so of a chore to do as opposed to some of the other great stuff that I was watching all weekend long. I do have a poll that's up right now on Twitter, on Facebook. Facebook, for those of you that join me for the NXT TakeOver Portland. And you got to forgive me if we don't mention NXT Portland and you guys notice I'm not showing any love to NXT. That's because we did do a NXT TakeOver Portland post show. So maybe after you get done with this, go out of your way, check it out. As far as it goes, as far as the availability, it's only available on YouTube. I did toy with the idea of making the audio version be available on Patreon. I still might do that maybe next day or so, but it's available on YouTube right now. But do have a poll up asking you guys, what did you think about Monday's WWE RAW? And we polled you guys in a couple of different outlets. So right now I'm looking at Twitter. And on Twitter, very interesting, amongst our own respective followers at the RCWR show, 17% gave Raw a thumbs up. Meanwhile, 83% gave Raw a thumbs down. However, check this out. Here's where things gets even more interesting, right? We polled also WWE's official Twitter account. Check this out. 64% gave Raw a thumbs up, while 36% gave it a thumbs down. Interesting, yeah? Yeah, very, very, very interesting right there. Meanwhile, on Facebook, and it's still kind of early on Facebook, but I want to show Facebook some love and see how many votes we got in there here. Yeah, Facebook, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, God bless me, please. See, Facebook, still relatively early. Yeah, I'm not going to do Facebook. And we do have the poll on YouTube as well. Go over to the communities tab that is on YouTube and click on it. And you'll be able to vote that way. I can tell you right now, with votes still early on YouTube in the community section, 100% have given Monday Night Raw a thumbs up. So, there was definitely some bright spots that went about for Raw. Honestly, I liked how it opened up there. And quick note, I'm not sure what exactly is going on, but I am seeing a huge significant spike right now in concurrent viewers, and that's a little alarming because normally we're not that high in concurrent viewers. So hopefully that's not a case where it's a bot thing, because YouTube, to their credit, it may take them about 24 hours, but YouTube does a phenomenal job in validating, okay, this is a bot, this isn't a bot, this is from a bogus account. So they usually do a pretty good job. But, for those of you that are checking out the show live right now, welcome. We do have the live chat open. You guys are more than welcome to leave a comment and everything, right? But I like how Monday Night Raw opened up there with Randy Orton and Matt Hardy. That actually was a really good spot. I enjoyed that. Randy Orton still riding off of the momentum from the infamous segment that closed out Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago. And the way the crowd has been coming at Randy Orton, it seems like each week, ever since he did what he did to Edge, he really could not get anything out as far as why he did what he did to Edge. And so now we finally were in this position where, for the first time since that incident occurred, Randy Orton was more verbal, and we still didn't exactly learn why he did what he did to Edge, right? We still didn't learn that. And that's where it gets really funny and interesting, because little was said in that segment opener, right? Little was said. And instead, it just relied more heavily on the fans really jumping out there and feeding their reaction to Orton and everything. And, we see Never Will Die Matt Hardy come out there, neck brace and all. And, Matt Hardy, okay, you just like that fighting spirit from Matt Hardy, because he's like, hey, man, you can kick the living shit out of me. You could do all these things. I'm just gonna, keep on coming at you. I'm gonna keep on jumping out there, and it's never gonna end. It's never gonna end with me. I'm gonna keep doing it until, essentially you're gonna have to do me like Old Yeller, right? You're gonna have to, you got to really take me out, right? And we see Randy Orton. He just kind of has this bipolar moment where he says to, Matt Hardy, hey, look, I respect you. I respect tremendously all of the contributions you've made in this business. You have my utmost respect. But seriously, you coming in here like this, yeah. Well, seriously, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And that's the right question to ask. You see somebody come out there with a neck brace, and it's like, yeah, exactly. What are you going to do? Right? Seriously, what are you going to do? And with regards to why he did what he did to Edge, Randy Orton really didn't put anything out there except he loves Edge. He respects him tremendously. He loves him like a brother. And okay, it's like, but dude, if that's the case, then why did you do what you did there? Like, that still doesn't quite make any sense, right? And to see that whole vicious attack, way that all got played out there, I loved it. I ate every single minute of that. It was good shit. It was good shit. I loved it. But what was for me one of the most coolest things of all about seeing that segment play out the way that it did was the fan reactions. I love the fan reactions to that. If you kind of see me playing around with my hands a little bit here, I'm trying to find my goddamn red dot so I can, really let people know that, hey, we're live, come check us out and everything. And I'm having a hard time finding that trademark red dot. I had saved the red dot before, and my red dot somehow disappeared there. I want to pull up an image. Let me just see something real quick here. Yeah, and I still can't do it. So the crowd reaction to everything that was playing out there with Matt Hardy. I love that shit. And let me just do this real quick. Let me take a quick sidebar because I'm going to be irritated otherwise. Let me look for that red dot real quick. I want that red dot, man. Let's see here. See if I can get that red dot. I just want to get a red dot here. You guys got to bear with me. And then you guys will have my undivided attention. I promise you guys. Let's just see if I can find a red dot real quick here. Yeah, because I was good up until I had saw the amount of concurrent viewers that are checking out the show. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right at all. Because normally we have at most about maybe 15 to 25 concurrent viewers and everything. So to see it almost break 100, like I said, YouTube, they're gonna do their part, and they're going to audit, because some people think they're kind of helping, but you're actually not, because YouTube always does a good job with the self audits on all the freaking YouTube channels and fixing that. And I got my red dot now, so bear with me, guys. I got my red dot, and then you guys will have my undivided attention. All right, and now we can save. And right when I said that, the numbers are drastically dropping. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't wait for YouTube to fine tune this. I usually check out a couple of YouTube channels, and there are some respected guys that's out there that are actually work for YouTube, and they let you know like all the stuff that they're working on and everything. And from a little bit of information, a little bit of side chatter that I've had with a couple of the people from YouTube, they are definitely aware that you've got people that like to abuse the hell out of the dislike bot system thing or whatever. And then how they also try to make a channel look important, and, they spam all these bogus views while it's basically all tied, multiple accounts tied to just one account and shit. And they basically had said that, they're aware of that, and pretty soon they're going to be addressing it. Now, I don't know if that's going to be this year, but one thing that they did say was the way that they've fine-tuned their algorithm and everything, they're going to be able to audit every single YouTube channel and, basically go, okay, so that's bogus, that's bogus, that's bogus, that's bogus, that's bogus. This is legit. They're even doing that as we speak for the like-dislike system. They're even doing it with those respective things. So, but what I honestly would like to see, and it's just a little bit of chatter that I'm hearing, but what I ultimately like to see is YouTube creators having the ability to blacklist somebody that they know is spamming, and somebody that is, trying to send bogus diss bots and all that other shit. I would like to see them do some really cool shit like that. That would be awesome. But, they're doing a good job with the progress that they've been making. They're doing a good job. I definitely got to give them a lot of props for that. But let's keep on going. You guys got my undivided attention. And I'll tell you what, since we had a couple of little distractions just then and there, I'll tack on an extra 10 minutes for you guys, because I see we're about really at the 30-minute mark, and we really haven't even begun to scratch the surface. So I know I said I was going to try to do a 75, 80-minute show. Push come to shove, I'll tack on an extra 10 minutes for you guys just to, make up and say thanks. But yeah, the Randy Orton, Matt Hardy spot there, doing the spot with the steel steps and all that steel. I loved all of that. I ate all of that shit up. But can I just show you guys the facial expressions from the fans that saw that devastating attack that Randy Orton did? That was just hilarious. Look at this. Look at this. You can't make this shit up. This is actually from tonight's Raw, right? So I felt really, really bad in particular for the little kid there. And he actually was crying. And as you can see, his mom is consoling him, and, and I guess the guy with the purple shirt, I guess maybe that's his brother, the way he's kind of looking at him, right? I'm sure he probably is thinking to himself right now, dude, this shit is fake as fuck. Why? But he doesn't have the heart just yet, because that's his younger brother or younger sibling or whatever. He doesn't have the heart to tell him it's fake just yet, right? So he's just kind of, right? But you can't help but feel for that little kid, right? Actually, both kids, right? When you see both of the kids, the red kids, as I call them, since they got the red light on them, right? The other little kid, he just looks like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe this. Oh my God, I hope he's okay, right? And then, C Nation dude kind of looks like a heavier Macaulay Culkin, right? He damn, oh my God, and then you got the grown woman there, just, oh my God, it's moments like that I really enjoy, because when you have the right type of story arc and you have the right type of people that are in place that can tell that story, that's got you right in the palm of the hands, and they can really just, hook, line, and sinker, that's when you have some really great magical moments. And that was a awesome moment right there. My one complaint, I don't know what was going on. And for those of you that didn't watch Raw, peep this out, right? But you had, in that opening segment, way too many camera cuts, right? And, what I mean by that, it was ridiculous, because the amount of camera cuts that they had from the moment that Randy Orton came out, the camera cuts were just ridiculous. It didn't even stay on the same frame for at least 60 seconds. They were changing frames / camera angles. It felt like every 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds they were doing it. And it was irritating as fuck. And it was, stop. You're starting to give me a headache. Like slow down a little bit, right? And I get it. They were trying to capture the fans' reactions. And I don't know whose idea it was. Maybe they've been watching what's been happening in the past couple of weeks with Randy Orton, seeing the fan reactions, and maybe their whole thing was just to try to justify it. Maybe their whole thing was, we need more of that. We need to try to pan out the crowds more and see what facial expressions we can get a hold of there. But they really were cutting it. And to the point, the first couple of segments for Raw, the camera work, I really wasn't feeling it. They were just every freaking... slow it down a little bit. You don't always have to keep switching it up like that, seriously. But kudos to that opening segment. That was pretty good. And I like how, when we were initially doing this a couple of weeks ago, everybody thought that with what had happened to Matt Hardy, well, that's it. All right, yep, AEW bound. That's it for Matt Hardy. And I probably was one of only a few people. You can go back and you can check out a previous Monday show. I'm thinking if it wasn't the show... you know what? I'm pretty sure it was the show from 2 weeks ago. I had said, look, Matt Hardy is in this position right now where he's trying to get answers, right? Okay, well, he's going to be able to feud with Randy Orton for a couple of weeks. This way, you set up Edge's return where he gives an update. And remember how I had cited it? I said basically pull a page out of Shawn Michaels' Triple H unsanctioned match SummerSlam 2002. That's what I had said. Go back 2 weeks, check out the Monday show. That's all how I laid it out, right? And so it seems as though that's the route that they've taken. But now you can't help but wonder, okay, now that you've essentially done even further damage to Matt Hardy in storyline, what does that mean for the man going forward? Have we now truly seen the last of Matt Hardy, right? And I know everybody wants to be so quick to, AEW or this promotion or that promotion. We also need to constantly remind ourselves that a lot of these wrestlers, some of them, majority of them know that they ain't going nowhere. They know they ain't going nowhere. But the type of game that they're playing, that's the nature of the beast, right? Because they know that, hey, I'm in a good position right here where I can get even more money from the WWE as opposed to, because they don't want me going over there. They don't want me going over to that other promotion. So show me the money, right? So you kind of have to have that in the back of your mind. Hey, would it be cool? Now, all joking aside, would it be cool to see Matt Hardy leave WWE? Yes, it would, because when they finally had the opportunity to go with Broken Hardy and everything, first little bit was okay and all that, final deletion, all that was good, but come on, let's be honest, they really weren't committed to the shit, right? So for me, it just really feels as though from a creative standpoint, WWE has failed Matt Hardy. And unless you are going to, do some marquee things with Matt Hardy as far as in front of the camera, then, okay, well, what's really next for Matt Hardy in his chapter with the WWE? Does he maybe slide into some type of a producer role? Does he slide into becoming a booking agent, right? He's a trainer at the Performance Center. What are you going to do with Matt, right? So I still feel that he has a lot left to offer under the right circumstances. I feel as though with the conditioning and everything that he's done for himself over the years, really doing a superb job in battling his demons and putting the lid on them, I really feel as though, if he can stay healthy and not do any crazy shit, I feel as though he could probably do, another 5 years, 5 to 7 years at most, right? But then it becomes, okay, well, at the end of the day, his name, his brand, right? You got to do what you can to protect that and everything. And, that's where I'm a little bit concerned because, okay, if you're telling me, all right, here we go, WWE. First thing I'd ask you, okay, re-signing with WWE, is that as a on-air personality or is it going to be for some stuff behind the scenes? Because if it's stuff behind the scenes, I'm down. I am down. But if it's just for the sole purpose of being a on-air talent, then that's where I go. No, I no. So anybody at this point would be better from an on-air talent perspective. All the other promotions that you guys love tremendously would be a better option for Matt Hardy than WWE. Hell, even MLW. I would even love to see a Matt Hardy in MLW. I think he would do phenomenal over there, man. Phenomenal over there. Let's see. We had Drew McIntyre in a segment / squash match against MVP. Drew McIntyre, that was a nice badass shirt that he had. He was pushing a really nice shirt on Raw tonight. He was holding a sword, kind of had a Highlander vibe to it and everything. I was loving that. MVP, I gotta be honest, as much of a big fan I am of MVP, and you notice if you listen to the show a couple of weeks ago with regards to MVP, I told you guys that at one point was a white whale for me as far as people I was trying to get on the show and everything early into my podcasting career, because we've been at this after all since 2011. But early into my podcasting career, the first at least 3 years, I was trying hard to get MVP on the show and everything. I gotta tell you, as an MVP fan, I'm very concerned after the past couple of weeks that we've seen him now in WWE. I'm very concerned at the lack of reactions that he has been getting. Now, that's no fault to him whatsoever, right? He's doing everything that he's been doing in his career. He's not doing anything wrong. The disconnect, let's call it for what it is. There is a significant disconnect with the current batch of WWE fans and MVP. This current batch of fans, they don't know who this guy is. They don't know what he's about and all of that. And in instances like this is why you need to hype even more the power of the WWE network. And I will continue to say this until I see WWE do a better job. And you know what? Not for nothing. Now that George Barbaros and that lady is out, maybe it can happen. But something I have been passionately advocating for years that I want for WWE to do with regards to their WWE network and all that, and just the full court media press. When you have wrestlers like an MVP pop up, don't be relying so heavily on everybody to, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. And what I mean by that is, okay, if you're going to do something like at the Royal Rumble, all right, sure, maybe a majority of the fans, oh, that's so-and-so, hey, okay, that's great, right? But you got to think about, okay, what are we going to do for that Raw the night after? What about when we go to this city or when we go to that city, right? And that's when you need to start having the full court press in media, as I call it, right? And what I mean by that is, okay, hey, MVP. All right, we got Corey Graves. Corey Graves does his After the Bell podcast. All right, I'm feeding, just for example, I'm feeding MVP to that outlet. I'm feeding him there. All right, what's next? All right, what new shows that we got on the network right now? Who's in a new season or whatnot? Right along. Okay, how soon can we get an MVP joint together? Right? Sometimes they got to take a step back and, once they know that, oh, hey, we want to try to acquire the services of, XYZ, as soon as they are able to ink that deal, you got to start doing the full court press and you got to start putting some nice content out there, right? Some new, and you can actually rely on old content. I would love to see WWE do some type of a series that specifically is aimed towards educating the younger WWE fans on people that they don't know anything about, right? And if you've noticed, since Royal Rumble, there has been a huge disconnect of the fans in MVP. It is quiet as church, right? It is quiet as church. yeah, you gotta do a better job. I mean, all the content that's available on the WWE network, they should easily be able to compile MVP. I hate to keep using him for an example, but you get what I'm saying. You should be able to get a nice compilation of MVP's greatest moments, splice in some interviews, things of that nature. Hey folks, yeah, we're really glad to see MVP back in the WWE this go round. It's almost as if he's found the fountain of youth. Hey, Jerry Lawler, puppies. Like, yeah, exactly. So, hey, fans, WWE Universe, listen up. If you've been enjoying the surprise return of MVP right now, past couple of weeks on WWE programming, hey, check this out. Premiering tonight after RAW goes off the air. Check out the MVP compilation, right? Airs exclusively on the WWE Network after RAW. You gotta start doing stuff like that, right? And if you're gonna have Steve Austin do his Broken Skull sessions and he's gonna interview nothing but no, you cannot send music. You have been harassing me for music for weeks. That's all you are interested in is hyping up your own shit. No, fuck you. Fuck your music. Fuck you. No. And for those of you that's going, Lee, what the fuck, man? So I've had this guy, right, on particularly just on the YouTube channels, because I know you guys that's going to be checking it out on demand and on the downloads. You're going to be like, what the fuck? All right, so there's been this guy. And I thought I blocked him. There's been this guy that has popped up on a couple of my YouTube joints. And he's like, hey, share my music. I'm like, okay, that's spam. Let me delete that. Then he comes back, can you share my music? Like, no. And he comes, can you share my music? And so finally, I said some type of a generalized comment where it said something along the lines of, hey, I'm not okay with spam. Let's keep it on topic. Talk about some of the stuff that I covered on the show. And so he comes right back. Well, I'm not spamming. I wanted you to share my music. It's like, first of all, we're not American Idol. This is not. It's showtime at the Apollo tonight, right? This isn't Ed McMahon's Star Search, okay? Right? No, we're good on the music. To the point, as far as music goes, everybody that listens to this show knows this. One time a year, I play music. It's called Slow Jamming with Lee. And I doubt you have anything to do with slow jamming. And even if you did have something to do with slow jamming at this point, I still don't want nothing to do with you. Because, see, I was nice to you. I was nice. And see, folks know this. You tell somebody, hey, I'm good. Thanks, but no thanks. And they keep insisting, yeah, really, I'm good. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm okay, really. And they keep insisting, no, really, no, really, I'm good. Really. And they press it again. Dude, I just said, I'm good. What the fuck? Right? And so he's now at that point where now it's, dude, what the fuck? It's like, don't be pressed. Don't be pressed. It's like, come on. You should be able, let me give you some really good advice. When a person says no, that needs to be the end of it. If anything, you just say, all right, I understand. Thanks for your time. Right? And to just come onto somebody else's content and be like, hey, promote my shit. Okay, so let me see if I got this straight. You aren't doing anything to promote me and my brand. And yet you want me to bend over backwards to promote you. Why? Why? Notice I never even mentioned the cat's name, right? So, no, you can't. No, that's not cool. That's not cool whatsoever. And then further to the point, it's like you want to try to form, and this is my best advice for any freaking YouTuber, especially those that's trying to get their content and their brands over. Try to identify with people that you know is right up your alley. So for example, if I were somebody that did nothing but do video game tutorials. Let's say when it comes to all things RPG, I am the guy, right? I'm playing the latest RPG games and I'm giving you tips, tricks, all that shit, right? Now, let's say I am thinking about, man, you know what would be really good if I did a partnership with somebody, if I teamed up with somebody and, you know, was somehow able to have a working relationship with them where I can, I can promote them and they can promote me, right? Okay, so if you're doing RPG stuff, you're doing video games, okay, well, what's kind of up that alley there? You know, what would complement you, right? Well, 9 times out of 10, you probably will find the type of help that you need if, say, you have a content creator that creates royalty-free music. And a lot of the royalty-free music that they make, it just so happens a lot of gamers are into it, things of that nature. Or maybe you come across somebody that always does unveilings and unboxings of limited edition video games, right? You know, hey, it's me, Fred, and I just got the new Madden, 2025 limited edition box set. You know, it's got Joe Montana and Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, and let's dive in here, right? Okay, so you wanna, right? So you don't just plug my shit. It's like without understanding, okay, well, does this really fit my does this really fit my audience, right? So if somebody does not play music, and look, there used to be a time years ago, long-time listeners know this, there used to be a time where we would take commercial breaks and we would play music. And particularly, it was the music that I like. I'm into everything. I'm into the rock, I'm into the rap, I'm into the metal, I'm into all of that, right? But for licensing reasons and all that, because I wasn't trying to catch any copyrights and all that other shit. And anybody that has a podcast knows this. When you get to a situation where, you have a partnership with Pandora or other outlets, right? You got to make sure that I don't want no trouble, right? Now, some people will say, well, I do a podcast and I've never had trouble. You playing roulette, and kudos to you. I actually know some people that used to have podcasts on certain platforms like the Stitcher, like the Pandora and all that, and they got flagged for their music, right? So, I can't stress it enough, and I don't want for that person to kind of feel as though, but that's what happens when you keep asking repeatedly and you were said, hey, I'm good 3 to 4 times. Now you're just coming off pressed. And there's one thing I don't like. I don't like people that's pressed. As far as more Monday Night Raw goes, Shayna Baszler, yeah, I think we were done with MVP. I think if I would have said anything more about MVP, it would have been redundant. So it was the timing of that little, lighthearted, what the fuck, was actually pretty good. The Shayna Baszler, Becky Lynch spot, that was actually pretty good. So now we know Shayna Baszler is going to be involved in this women's elimination chamber. Winner of this will go on to face Becky for her title at WrestleMania. And although we did not see Shayna Baszler live in person, face to face with Becky, we did see Baszler appear on the Titantron. Sounds pretty cool. Sounds pretty collected. The Shayna Baszler from NXT is transitioning, and just as far as the whole personality and the promos and all of that is sliding in pretty well. What was going on with my guy that was working the edit button though? Because at one point Shayna Baszler says, Becky, I'm gonna tear the living shit out of you, and we didn't get a bleep. We actually heard Shayna Baszler use the S word. So I'm a little bit curious if the powers that be knew that they were going to have Shayna say that word, and it was okay to clear that, because this was all about really solidifying and getting her over as a mega badass, right down to the point. I love how in the promo that Shayna Baszler cut, I love how she had said to Becky Lynch, hey, I'm going into Elimination Chamber. Hey, you realize this is a steel cage, right? You realize the environment I just came from prior to WWE, right? Prior to pro wrestling, right? So this is right up my alley. I'm going to be right at home, right? So that was very smooth how all of that had played out tonight. Both girls had actually cut pretty good promos tonight. I gotta tell you, even though it was short, but sweet, direct, very on point. I was even able to tolerate Becky Lynch for once with regards to her promo. So, she did pretty good. AJ Styles was back in action, so to speak, but not really. This was our first time seeing him since he went on hiatus after the Royal Rumble, dealing with a little bit of a nagging injury and all that. And found that kind of interesting because, he cut about a 4 or 5 minute promo, basically sucking himself, talking about how good he is, right? Ain't I great? Calling himself the new Mr. WrestleMania, and the other club members, they're egging him on in a hype type of way. And he starts going through the names. He starts going through the Hulk Hogan's, and those were my aligners. Can I say that again? Hulk Hogan. There we go. That sounds a lot better. The Scott Halls, the Kevin Nash's, the Shawn Michaels, the Undertakers. He's just name dropping these guys left and right and everything. And so, you're kind of hearing that, and you're kind of saying to yourself, so could the reports actually be true that AJ Styles is going to be having a WrestleMania match against The Undertaker? Now I know that there are some people that are frowning upon that, and they're going, Jesus, why? Why are we getting Undertaker and AJ Styles? Why? What the hell? I get where you guys are coming from. I do. And I totally respect that. You have no idea how much I respect that. But can we be optimistic for a second? Because after all, what we've gotten from Undertaker for the past couple of years now, that he has gotten his surgeries out of the way, and he's been physically working hard at rehabbing, and great cardio. I mean, he is just in the best condition I have seen him in quite some time, right? And this Undertaker is going out there. Anybody that has listened to him in interviews, or most recently checked him out on Broken Skull sessions, he just feels as though he still has a lot to offer, and he wants to go out there and he wants to prove himself and everything. I'm like this. If it's going to be Undertaker versus AJ Styles, man, just on paper, that sounds freaking fantastic. That sounds freaking fantastic. It's like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels all over again, basically, right? I'm okay. I'm okay with that on paper. To everybody else that is, sour face over it, let's just wait and see what happens with AJ Styles on his road to WrestleMania. Let's see who his Mania opponent is going to be. And then let's go from there. And look, if it turns out it is going to be The Undertaker, then at that point, okay, well, let's see what type of match we get, and if it lives up to our expectations. Now, look, I'm not expecting a 5-star match. If it were to be those two, I'm not expecting a 5-star match from those guys. I'm expecting at most a 3 to 3.5 out of 5. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And my advice to everybody else, have your expectations kind of around that range. Have it kind of be that low. And if they end up doing something that exceeds that rating, then so be it. But, it's still just a tiny bit early. We got like 40 something days left until Mania. Let's see how everything pans out with AJ Styles. Now, if you were to ask me, Lee, would you want for AJ Styles to face The Undertaker? I would say to you, I'm actually good. Now, some of you guys may say, okay, well, if that's the case, then who would you go with? And just, looking at the roster, right now, I'm honestly good. I really don't need Undertaker, right? And this is me, the fan in me that's talking. There is such a tremendous, great body of work that we already have of The Undertaker from over the decades, many decades, that I'm good. I don't need to go to the well for Undertaker, right? But obviously, kind of seems otherwise. No, we're going in a Undertaker wrestling direction. Give me Undertaker and Samoa Joe. I think that would be, given their styles and everything, I think they would gel phenomenally well. Right type of storyline too. Two great people that can talk on the microphone and everything. Give me Samoa Joe and Undertaker, right? I like that more. I like that more than AJ Styles and Undertaker, right? Samoa Joe, Undertaker, similar styles. How they operate in the ring, very ground based for the most part, right? Samoa Joe, here and there he'll do a little high spot, but for the most part, he's a ground kind of technical type of dude. Definitely a brawler, right? So I would like to see those two go at it more. Now, what do you do with AJ Styles? AJ Styles, honestly, under different circumstances, and you know what? It actually could still happen. But me personally, AJ Styles, Humberto Carrillo, like to see the two of them guys go at it. Or depending on what's going on with my man, Andrade. Is Andrade going to be coming back as a heel, or is he going to be coming back as a face? You kind of want to go with the impression, he should be a heel, right? I think it just depends, but he's definitely going to be back in time for WrestleMania. So AJ, right now I'm kind of feeling AJ, Humberto Carrillo, or AJ, Angel Garza, AJ Andrade. I want to see something around that, right? Something with that would be kind of mega freaking badass. If I had to go with anybody else in there, just again thinking about the current roster for the Raw side of things at least. Yeah, no, that's it. Those are the names that I'm looking at right now. Those are the only ones. Ricochet, we've seen that enough times. All right, see what else here. Other than that, the Monday Night Messiah sermon. I said this on Twitter. I'll reiterate it again. If we're going to be doing this thing with Seth Rollins, let's have some fun with it. Let's really just throw out the book and bullet points and all that, and let's just have some creative fun with this. Let's just go out there and spaz them all out. Let's just throw some shit up on the wall, figure out what sticks and everything, and go from there. And I'm not feeling it. I'm just not. Now, I would love to have some serious fun. If I was one of the writers, I would love to have some serious fun with this whole Monday Night Messiah type of deal. I would. I would love to see Seth Rollins go down the path of being some type of a deranged, prophet, messiah, or whatever, and he's always looking to sacrifice somebody at the altar to further his cause, to further his agenda or whatever. I would like to see Seth Rollins begin to be more biblical in his verbiage, basically. I would drastically like to see his attire change as well. I would like to see him come out in some type of a white suit, right? A black glove, right? I'm kind of going for that Lex Luthor type of approach and everything. I would like to see him, go in that direction. And I would like to see him come off very deranged, very, I would like to see him really, really, really fucking, and Capcom, all due respect, this is my show. So at the end of the day, I'm just giving my respected opinion, right? And you had asked me, hey, do I support Jordan, Miles, and everything like that? See, here's a problem that what I have. Why does everything have to be a black and white type of deal? Why can't it just be, hey, what do you think about this person? Or what do you think about that person? Or, what I support is those that take self-accountability for their actions, be it good, be it right. That's what I am an advocate for, right? But this is my respected show. Everything that I put out there, it doesn't mean that I'm right. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. The way I talk about things on this show, at the end of the day, it's not the be all end all. It ain't law. What I say on this show, I help you guys look at things from a couple of different directions. And when you walk away going at your own conclusion. That's how we do it here on this show. I don't care what, look, if it ain't my good friends over at Wrestling Soup, if it ain't my friends over at the Don Tony Kevin Castle show, if it's not my boy Jason Solo Monster, I'm focusing on my brand. I'm focusing on what I'm doing, enjoying life, all of that. All due respect, but to the other people that's not in that inner circle of my, respected friends and colleagues, all due respect, but I don't care. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm interested in what they're doing. My friends and all that. That's it. Right? So, for me, it's really weird. It's really weird, this position that we got going on with Seth Rollins, because it's not entertaining. It's like, watching fucking paint dry on the wall every single time this guy comes out. And it's fucking ridiculous. But no, I need to see him be more creative with this. I need to see him really let loose, because all I see is basically, when I look at Seth Rollins, and I hate to use a food analogy, but what I see is, okay, same bologna sandwich. It's the same damn bologna sandwich. It's the same sandwich that ain't got no lettuce, it ain't got no cheese, it ain't got no mayo, it ain't got no fucking mustard. It's still the same. You may have toasted the bread. You may have given me some wheat bread instead of the white bread, right? You may have given me, you get the point. In between, though, it's still just regular bologna that's in there, right? So I really need to see them do something entirely different with all of that. I do. But overall, it was an okay Raw. It was an okay Raw. Let's go to the polling one more time, man. Show you guys some love with the polling here. So once again, polled you guys in 3 different outlets here. Shout out to everybody that voted on Twitter. So once again, we polled our own respective followers, and those that engaged. 83% gave Raw this week a thumbs down. Meanwhile, 17% gave it a thumbs up. However, same poll given to WWE through their respective fan base, 38% gave it a thumbs down. 62% gave it a thumbs up. Shout out to Ryan. Ryan had said via Twitter, dull episode except for Baszler. So, all right, appreciate everybody that have voted there. And then let me poke my head and see what's going on with YouTube here in the communities tab. All right, so we got 70% new update. 70% gave Raw a thumbs up. Meanwhile, 30% gave it a thumbs down. And I'm just curious. Let's see what's going on with Facebook now that it's been several minutes here. Let's see what's going on with Facebook here. Facebook still kind of early, but so far, let's see what's being said here. Damn. So right now it is looking 90% gave Raw a thumbs down, 1% gave Raw a thumbs up. Good God almighty. Appreciate everybody that had cast their votes. I'm feeling pretty good. So we got about almost 70 minutes in. I'll tell you what, I'm still feeling pretty good, and it's still kind of early, and I'll be able to whip this show up for demands and on the downloads real quick. Let's keep going. If we end up doing 90 minutes, I'm actually okay with that because I feel a little bit better. But I gotta tell you, my head was pounding when right before I did the show. It doesn't feel as bad now. But let's go ahead. Let's keep going here. So I got a couple of tidbits we can dive into here. First off, let me show some love to the XFL. I got some stuff as far as wrestling, little tidbits and all that, but I want to show some love to some of the sporting events that had went down over the weekend. First of all, we had the NBA AllStar Weekend. And I got to tell you, I have not been interested in the NBA All-Star Weekend. God, and I'm sure everybody is probably around this same vibe as well. But it feels for me as though I haven't been interested in the NBA All-Star since maybe 2013, maybe 2014 for sure. But it really feels as though 2013 was it as well. And it just got to a point where, and if you haven't been watching the NBA in a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it got to a point when it came to those NBA All-Star games, motherfuckers were just phoning it in. It got to a point where the All-Star, like the marquee names, they weren't even showing up to those things. And I'll never forget, you had the infamous episode of Inside the NBA on TNT where Ernie and them, they really went all in on that All-Star Weekend. I can't remember which year it was, but it definitely felt like it was around 2013 or 2014. And they went all in on it, and they were like, the format has got to change. It's got to change. It's not even a game anymore. This is an embarrassment. I remember they were very critical about it and everything. It's like, okay, well, what can you do? What can be done to rectify this? How can you rectify it and everything? And I love where the NBA All-Star game itself on Sunday, I love where it is now. So in case you maybe weren't aware, you didn't check it out, maybe you haven't checked out the NBA in a couple of years, it's worth checking out now because they got all the marquee names and have been for the past, couple of years now, at least, 3 for sure and everything, and 4 at the least. And the way they got it set up now is the first 3 quarters, the teams, they're playing and everything, right? There's no clock as far as the points, right? So nobody knows who is scoring what, right? So they basically, no, actually, you know what? Forgive me. I actually think I messed that up. Actually, I'll keep going. I'm just going off of the memory, how I recall it. I'll clean it up as I go along. So basically, the teams are playing 4 quarters, right? But the first 3 quarters, they are playing, and the points are being tallied up and everything, right? And when you go to the final quarter, they basically take the overall scores from the previous quarters, and then they add to that, the 24. Which is basically in memory of Kobe Bryant, right? And they add that 24 on top of, however many points you accumulated. So whatever your overall total is, right? It's like, okay, so you need to hit this number. And if you hit this number, then you win, right? And so basically it's essentially the first team to get to, I forgot what the magical number was, because they basically take both teams' points that they accumulated from the 3 quarters, and then they add the 24 to both, and then they basically give the roundabout number that way. And so that's how they figure out, okay, this is it. Now, 4th quarter, here's where it gets interesting. Is they don't show the points for either team. So the guys don't know, what's going on. They just keep playing until basically the whistle is blown and, game over, right? So I think that's really cool how they did it. And then not for nothing, but the people that are playing, they're also playing for charity, right? We're talking $100, $2,000 that's up for grabs. And, these team captains, they're able to, take that money that they win and donate it to their respected charity and everything. So it's really cool. And the other cool thing that I enjoyed about the All-Star Weekend, again, for those of you that maybe weren't even aware of it, so the All-Star MVP award, they changed that, and rightfully so. They changed it to the Kobe Bryant All-Star Award. And you know what? It was awesome. It was great hearing NBA Commissioner Adam Silver talk to the Inside the NBA crew. And pretty much they knew immediately, as soon as the unfortunate news came about of Kobe and his daughter and the victims involved in that terrible helicopter crash, and hey, we're on our way to NBA All-Star Weekend, they knew they had to get the ball rolling to, how are we going to do our best as an overall NBA community to mourn this loss and everything, and celebrating Kobe's accomplishments and everything. So this got worked on pretty fast. And Kawhi Leonard, how fitting is that Kawhi Leonard ends up being the recipient of the first ever Kobe Bryant Award. One of those rare times that you finally see Kawhi Leonard, as everybody calls him, the cyborg robot and all that, because he's just emotionless, right? But here you finally see an emotional Kawhi Leonard, letting that armor down a bit, and, letting you know how much he appreciated it, and, how close he was to Kobe. And, it couldn't happen to any cooler person, I have to say. But All-Star Weekend, it was fantastic. A little bit of controversy there with the dunking contest. It should have been a tie, right? I know everybody's giving their opinions, and I'm not going to be long drawn out with it. For me, it really should have been a tie. But then again, man, if you can jump over somebody that's fucking 7'2" and up, like, yeah, you know what, dude, you won. You got this. Now it's over, right? But it was good. I definitely enjoyed the Inside the NBA roast as well. That roast was killer fucking good. But my man, God, who was I can't quite think of his name right now. Was it Gary Payton? Boy, his jokes were bad. Everybody else was banging on the jokes, but but yeah, NBA All-Star Weekend was actually pretty damn good. I definitely had enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to be checking it out yet again when it rolls around next year. The new format is awesome. You can't go wrong with it whatsoever. XFL Week 2, consistency there with the ratings, consistency there with the viewership, consistency as far as the attendance. Everything is still very solid. It is nice to see that so many people from Week 1 really showed their support for the XFL. And I'm talking about leading into Week 2. I mean, seeing personalities that I respect tremendously, like Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth, even Eddie Trunk from VH1's That Metal Show, Trunk Nation and all of that. Even seeing him jump out there, because he's a big football fan himself. It was really great to see so many people that I've grown up on and respect tremendously jump out there and say, hey man, the XFL, yeah man, it's what they're doing, the rules that they're implementing, everything is on point. It's doing pretty good. And I know it's still relatively early. But got to keep that consistency going. That's it. I mean, we're going to have a really good idea of where everything is as far as the consistency goes when we get to Week 5, when we get to Week 6. I personally feel there is one alarming issue, though, that is currently going on in the XFL that I do have a gripe with, and that is quarterbacks. I've watched all the teams now, and I've seen enough, and other than Cardale Jones, who I was singing his praises Week 1. I told you guys, I said, look, it's still pretty early, but as far as the best roundabout team with the best quarterback and everything, DC Defenders and what they're doing with Cardale Jones there, he seems pretty damn solid. And he has not been disappointing. But overall for the XFL right now, the one alarming issue that they have is the quarterbacks. I had took down some notes for some of the games that happened during week 2. And you want to talk about poor performances. Brandon Silvers of the Seattle Dragons, he completed just 7 of 18 passes for 91 yards. You had the Tampa Bay Vipers quarterback combining for 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. You got the New York Guardians, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Before their quarterback, Matt McGloin, had got benched, right? And I mean, that was... I know he got ripped a new asshole on social media, because he basically went into the end of the half saying, we got to change our whole offense. The whole offensive program, what we're trying to execute, all of that needs to change. And you're like, ooh, what the fuck? And my girl that had interviewed him, she actually used to work out here. I don't know if she still does, but she actually used to work in the nation's capital. I think she used to be on NBC4, but don't quote me on that. But I know she used to do the sports. Diana Rossini. I knew that the minute McCloin had said that to her, she was going to run back and she was going to go talk to the coach about that. I knew it. And sure enough, she talks to the coach. And the coach is basically saying, oh, well, that's news to me. Well, I'm definitely going to have a talk with him and find out what exactly his problem is. Because when it's all said and done, we really need for him to play better. Right. And I knew the minute that. And look, I can't shit on Diana Rossini too much, because at the end of the day, she, like everybody else that's on the sidelines that's getting all of this exclusive access and everything, it's pretty much anything goes, right? But I truly believe in my heart of hearts, if you truly would have had a veteran reporter that means to do well by the players rather than chase a story because, ooh, look at this juicy little bit of crumbit here. I truly believe that a veteran reporter would have said, hey, not for nothing, but what you said there, I can definitely do my best to, kind of let that be and everything, since it's just really between you and me. But, ooh, you might be shooting yourself in the foot there now. Like, I don't really think, but I knew the minute that he had said that to her, I knew she was going to run back. And I quietly said, he's going to get benched. He's going to get benched. Just watch. He's going to get benched. And sure enough, he was in there for a couple more plays. He didn't get immediately benched because I think it would have looked pretty petty if, and you did see him and the coach talking on the sidelines and everything. But after a couple of plays, he did get benched. And, him saying, hey, isn't this what you guys wanted? As far as the accessibility and all that, isn't this what you all wanted? Right? So, and he's right. I know that what we had saw looked pretty damn harsh, and you can't help but go, damn, but this is something that constantly was going on regularly in the NFL. It's been happening for decades. It's just that with the type of access that we're getting in the XFL, there's basically no limits. Right? We're getting all of this exclusive access that we normally would not see otherwise. I think some of it can be a little bit overbearing, to say the least. For me personally, I just really would not want to be that reporter that runs up to a quarterback end of the first half in McClellan and go, hey, what do you, I'm going to give that person their space. I'm just old school like that. I think for me, it's, hey, look, do you want to talk? Because if you want to cool off for a little bit and maybe I'll come back to you later, I can do that for you if you want. You want that instead? Oh, okay, great, right? But yeah, the issues with the quarterbacks, man. Like I said, Matt McGloin completing 8 out of 19 passes for 44 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions before he got benched. You look around all in the league, the only quarterback that has been pretty good, that is, I won't say a fantastic quarterback, right? He ain't no Tom Brady or anything like that. But as far as, hey, for an average quarterback, yeah, he's pretty good. Cardell Jones, he threw for 276 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he at this point, he is the one that is leading the pack right now. He is the one. But you look at these poor quarterback, low scoring games, the XFL as a whole, the teams are averaging just 17 points a game. Last NFL season, teams were averaging at least 23 points a game. But you and I both know that depending on who you're facing in the NFL, 23 points is not going to do it. You are not safe. You are not safe, right? So, it's interesting. It's an interesting development. Tim Tebow, he recently did an interview where he talked about, XFL, there was some conversations. There was some interest there, but it hasn't really gone much anywhere. And I want to continue to play baseball. I'm having a blast with it. But I did hear from the people in the XFL, and I wish them nothing but success. They do need some marquee players. And I feel that with the teams that they've built, some of the people that's on those teams, they're pretty good, solid names. I wish them nothing but the best, right? So apparently it really didn't go that far with Tim Tebow, but it kind of follows up to something that I had said. I think I said it last week. I was mentioning it to DT, and I asked him because he's been checking out the XFL as well, and I asked him. I said, DT, what the fuck? Why have they not been able to get somebody like a Colin Kaepernick? Like what the fuck? And you keep seeing these stupid, bogus, conflicting reports that's being put out there where he had Oliver Luck, the XFL commissioner. He goes, oh, yeah, well, we tried. We tried to contact Colin Kaepernick, but he wants a boatload of money. But I remember when Chris Carter was still on First Things First, and they came to clearing the air on some of the stuff that was being said about Kaepernick. He wants this money, he wants that. And Chris, very close friends with Kaepernick. No, XFL did not at all communicate with Colin Kaepernick. They did not reach out to him at all. This is way before Colin did that personal training camp with his people and all that. It was going to be at one stadium, and then he decided to pull an audible at the last minute. This was way before that had even happened, right? Now, if something has happened within the past 3 to 5 months, that I don't know, but I'm only dealing with the information that I did know at the time, which Chris Carter, Pro Football Hall of Famer, had confirmed himself, which was nobody reached out to Cam. What are you talking about? No XFL, no, like, I remember, saying to DC, what the hell, right? Can we get a Colin Kaepernick in there? Can we get a Tim T? They need a marquee name, right? And I know that we got some people that are all about the, social justice, and I'm feeling that. I'm for the right cause any day of the week, okay? But rather than always be focusing on so much negative, so much toxicity that's going on in this world, I actually want to do my part in recognizing when a lot of good is being done as well. The hell with race, right? Because it can't be like that. But that's what the XFL is really lacking right now. They're really lacking that marquee, I won't say a super heavyweight, but they're missing yeah, this will get the league talking because we got this person that's over there now. Yeah. But for what they're doing, so they're doing okay. Nielsen data, Defenders local rating peaked at 3.8, down from 4.0 from week 1. Still had outperformed other sports like track and field on NBC. So, that is phenomenal news to hear right there. No official release yet for XFL ratings for week 2, but so far with the information that's being put out there, it is very, very encouraging. Seattle, they did a 7.6, 6.0 in St. Louis, outdrawing the defending Stanley Cup Blues game, and a 2.3 in Milwaukee. So that's fantastic news. That is fantastic news all the way around. Defenders taking on the Guardians. Can I just pretty much go over that game real quick here? You got to indulge me, right? All right, so let's pick it up here. I took down really good notes with regards to this, and I'm not going all batshit over all the games. I just want to home in on the games that really got me out of my seat. So Defenders versus Guardians, right? First quarter, you got 4 minutes, some change left. Ball is at about the 48-yard line. Second and 10. Guardians have the ball. McGloin gets it off to Victor, gets the first down, but the ball pops out. And you got number 45, Raheem Moore. He's able to snatch it up. And you see one player on the Guardians go down. And I believe it was Darius Victor, number 27, for the Guardians. He gets checked out. You see helmets coming off, all of that. And then you see player number 70 for the Guardians. He pretty much comes over and sees what's going on and everything. You're like, wait a minute, what the hell, right? So you see all this chaos that's going on there. And again, this is in the first quarter. So McGloin is already off to a pretty bad spot here, right? So now you have a questionable call, which is, okay, so, was this a forced fumble, or, is it down by contact and the ball came out after the fact, but the guy is already down? What's going on right here? So you got Terry Valenti, who was the booth review official, and you've got John O'Neill, the lead referee, who's waiting. You got Steve Strimling, who's the XFL officiating supervisor. So he's just kicking back, watching Terry Valenti do her thing and everything. The ball ends up going back to the 30-yard line. You're like, oh, okay, all right, cool. So I like how they handled that. I was a little bit concerned about Terry, because Terry was almost kind of seemed like, if you guys watch the game, I'm talking about, she kind of seemed as though she was having a little bit of a brain fart. And I made one interesting observation during that game that I think going forward, the XFL may want to make a serious investment in. And peep this out, because nobody else had talked about this from what I've seen on social media and everything. Did y'all notice how, now that I say this, you're going to remember, Terry kept looking at the screen and she's putting her hand over her eyes, and I'm looking at her screen. Oh, no wonder you keep doing that. There's fucking glare, right? So I don't know what the mandate is for their monitors when they're doing the reviews and everything, but if they can get some plasma, like get away from the glass stuff screens is basically what I'm saying. That way it helps them even quicker be able to do what they need to do as far as the replay and goes and everything. But she did a fantastic job and everything. Ball needs to go back to the 30-yard line. And then, you fast forward from there, you got 99 for the Guardians, who had took his helmet off. Shamarko Thomas, number 38 of Defenders, with a tackle on number 77 way after the play's over. Number 78 for the Guardians, he sees what happens and, pushes the other guy. And the guy falls like helmet first into the ground. It looked really fucking ugly that had went down. And you see the flags just coming out all over the place. And you're like, why are you doing that? Like, seriously, that's a stupid play. Like, come on, you got to have better temperament than that. The one issue that I kept seeing over and over again for the Defenders, just to get on their ass a little bit and to get on all of the teams for week 2, I need to see from here on out better clock management. Too many times, and this is what's really weird, because in the XFL, the coordinators, the coaches, they're in your ear the whole time until you're ready to freaking snap the ball, right? And okay, I get that the clock, they've adjusted that or whatever, but in Canada, it's even worse, apparently. So, you got all of this time to be able to make the adjustment that you need to do. You got the people in your ear to keep seeing the clock go down to 0. That's inexcusable. That's just, and that's widespread. That's the one thing. It wasn't as visible week 1. Seemed to be pretty crisp and everything, but it seemed like week 2, a lot of clock management failures. So I definitely need to see them work a lot better at that. I really, really do. Second quarter, same game, 9:56, 3rd and 2. Ball is at the 27-yard line. McGloin takes 4 big steps back and tries to throw the ball. Looks like he was looking for number 34, but a very poor decision that he made, as you had 3 red shirts for the defenders that were down. Like, who do you see? Did you not see all that red down there? Like what's going on? McGloin was just making very, dude, what are you doing? His readouts were very, dude, this guy's open. Why aren't you going here? Why are you going over? It was bad. It was really, really bad. Really, really bad, man. Just poor decision making on his part. And I don't know if maybe the answer is just to let him bench, move him to second string or third string, have somebody else come up. But the energy that he brought to that team as well, it was like he clocked out. He's isolated. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. I wasn't feeling that. Pepper Johnson, who was the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Wildcats, he got fired after week 1. As Wildcats were taking on the Renegades there. That was okay there. That game was all right. I'm just thinking about the rest of the games. If there's really, the games on Sunday, I wasn't feeling it. The other games was just pretty much, at least the Saturday games, it felt somewhat competitive. Somewhat. The Sunday games, it just felt as though, man, it really, especially the first game on Sunday. You're watching 2 0-1 teams. Surely somebody wants this. Surely somebody is going to, win this game, because this is really anybody's up for grabs. Like seriously, who wants this? And of course, I'm talking about the, I'm looking at my notes here. I'm talking about Dallas Renegades taking on the Los Angeles Wildcats. Yeah, I'm talking about that. Yeah, that game was just, that was rough to watch. It really was. That was seriously rough to watch. That's all I gotta say, man. But yeah, to the point, the quarterbacks, they definitely have been struggling. They have been struggling these past 2 weeks, and it's still early. Hopefully, more repetition, things will get a little bit more fine-tuned, so we can only hope. But right now, I'm liking DC Defenders. Got to be honest with you guys. I'm really liking DC Defenders. They seem to be the team that I think is maybe going to be able to go all the way. They could be the guys that's going to win the championship. If not win the championship, definitely they're going to be that team at one end of the field. Who that other team may be, right? Still early, but I usually trust my gut instincts, and usually I'm pretty on point. Very seldom I'm wrong with that. But yeah, those are my thoughts about what was going on in the XFL for this week. And all right, let's get into some. Actually, you know what? Let's get into some shout outs. Here. I want to give a shout out to our Patreon members. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio video content, great majority of which you won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to Patreon members Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to Sean Kenter. Sean, hey buddy. Shout out to Freddie R. Freddie. Shout out to John Davis, Michael Wolf, John Krauser. Also, shout out to Tony Being Gaming. You guys want the very latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Super Wars, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Tony Being Gaming. He's got tips, tricks, news, reviews. Check him out. Good man, good friend of the show. Love him. Appreciate him as always. So, WWE is being accused of tampering with MLW wrestlers' contracts. I'm not really sure how many of you guys had heard about that, but this report had first came about from PW Insider. They're reporting that WWE's attorneys have been approached by Major League Wrestling's attorneys in response to some apparent contract tampering involving their talents. MLW have cited evidence of Vince McMahon's company attempting to interfere with multiple talents within the MLW promotion. They now appear to be ready to go to court if the incidents continue in this manner. MLW talents, as you guys know, are well known for being able to play their trade in multiple different promotions and companies. However, the one they currently categorically are forbidden to do business with is the WWE. So, this is kind of interesting to see when you really look at the bigger grasp of things. WWE, they've already got established relationships with many independent wrestling promotions that's out there. Progress, ICW, Evolve, this just goes on and on and on and on. So I wouldn't be surprised if WWE is looking at certain guys from all promotions, including MLW, and they're going, put some fillers out, see what's going on, keep it on the hush, see when that person's contract is coming up for renewal. And look, are there guys in MLW that I'm eyeballing and I kind of kick back and go, you know what? They'd be pretty damn good over in WWE. Yeah, there's a couple of guys. Honestly, the guys that jump out to me off the break from MLW, Alexander Hammerstein. I think it's Hammerstone, ain't it? Guy that looks like Triple H. Yeah, he looks, and I actually remember checking him out as far back as Paragon Pro Wrestling. Used to be based out in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's now a defunct wrestling promotion. At one point, they used to be on TV weekly. Used to be able to watch them, I want to say Saturday mornings. Didn't they come on right before Impact Wrestling or something like that? I can't even remember what the network was that they were on now, because it's been so long and Impact has jumped around so many damn times on networks. It's not even funny. But yeah, I look at him. He seems pretty, for selfish reasons, Brian Pillman Jr. Teddy Hart got some serious issues that's going on, but Davey Boy Smith Jr. for sure. Looking at him. Trying to think who else they got over there that, Joseph Samael. Good God Almighty. Joseph Samael. I can't sing the praises of Joseph Samael enough, man. That is, I'm telling you, you guys, you haven't watched MLW, go check out MLW. And I'm telling you, he is like Bobby the Brain Heenan, Paul Heyman, Jim Cornette, to a degree, rolled up, and Taz, and Austin Aries, rolled up in one. The guy on the microphone is golden. Can't fucking touch him. He is fucking golden. Check him out. He's fucking phenomenal. John Cena, supposedly his opponent has been revealed for WrestleMania. Now, let's pump the brakes a little bit. We know he's going to be showing up on the final SmackDown for February. He's going to be there. That should be good. Let's see what happens. But, if it were to go in the direction of Cena and supposedly his Mania opponent is going to be Elias, and what's supposedly coming out of that is this is all about establishing Elias. So wait, all this time? And see, here's where I kind of have a problem with that report that's floating around. Wait, you need somebody like a John Cena just to try to help elevate, not for nothing, but Elias has rubbed elbows with Cena before and a few other people. And right? Okay, so let's pump the brakes a little bit, folks, is my advice. And let's see exactly what is going to be happening with Cena. If he is, in fact, going to have a road to WrestleMania, he is going to be doing something at WrestleMania. I can tell you this much. If he is going to be doing something at Mania, it's not going to be something along the lines of Cena doing a 15, 20-minute match. You can forget about that. Now with all of these Hollywood projects that he's got coming up and everything, forget about it. It ain't happening. Speaking of Hollywood projects and all that, shout out to my man DC's Own 2 right here in the nation's capital. Shout out to my man Big Dave Batista. I see you, brother. You're doing it well. Moving on to bigger and better things. So Dave Bautista, he's got a new movie that's going to be dropping in March. I believe the name of that movie is called My Spy, and it seems like this is one of those type of movies that you can take, your kids, your entire family to go see. So, that's nice. I can't wait to check that out. I'm actually going to check it out. I do want to check it out. I can't hate on Dave. Now, look, I'll be honest. Does the movie look like it's kind of quirky there? It looks like it's kind of, man, yeah, it does. But man, come on, it's Big Dave. I can't hate. Worst case scenario, movie just ain't my cup of tea. But the vibe I'm getting right now is it may not really be up the alley of, the seasoned moviegoers that maybe does not have kids in the picture. Maybe doesn't even, have a niece, a nephew, a cousin, or anything like that. But if there is a kid in the picture for you, it seems like it's one of those type of movies you can make it be a family affair, and go check it out. So, I think I'm gonna actually check it out though, just to see what's going on with that. And also, we were just talking about MLW and Teddy Hart earlier there. So I actually have a couple of friends that actually work in law enforcement, and I was trying very hard to, use my connections to them and try to see if I can get some information, because he was arrested, over the weekend down in Richmond, Virginia. And as you all know, Teddy Hart, he basically got released from MLW last December and everything, and pretty much rest is history and all that. And if you're watching the stuff that they're putting out there on YouTube, I try to watch it. A lot of the shit, it kind of goes over my head at times, and then there's other times where I just go, "What the fuck am I watching?" Because it's really way out there. It's crazy as fuck. But yeah, apparently, right out here in the DMV, Teddy Hart got arrested in Richmond, Virginia. He was charged with possession of a Schedule 3 controlled substance, and possession with intent to sell and distribute. And the possession of a Schedule 3 controlled substance is classified as a Class 1 misdemeanor in Virginia, and it has a maximum penalty of 12 months in jail and a fine of $2,500. A Schedule 3 substances includes anabolic steroids, ketamine, stuff like that. And at the moment, it looks as though he is still incarcerated at the Richmond City Jail. It looks like his court appearance is not going to be going down until April the 23rd. He did actually put out a video. It was actually through Maria, and I watched it, and I started to save it because I wanted to play the audio on the show. I just wanted to play a little snippet, and I figured, this is, all right, cool. Nice to hear Teddy Hart set the record straight as far as what all had went down and everything. But for whatever respected reason, I want to say this was Maria's call. Maria decided she was going to make the video private. So literally hour before showtime, I'm looking for this video that I heard the first go round. I'm looking for this video, and I'm ready, to load up the audio and everything, have it ready to go in the mixer. And the video is now marked private. So but I didn't think there was a problem with anything that he had said. The one thing that I have found a little bit alarming was the fact that while Teddy was calling from the county jail, Maria has the phone on her lap, and she's driving and everything. And I'm going, honey, where's your Bluetooth, right? Where's your Bluetooth? And you can hear the rain in the background. You can hear the rain hitting the ground and all that. Like, damn, hon, you just focus on the road. Like, can't you do this at the side of the road? Can't you be parked somewhere and be doing this? Like, seriously? So I actually was legit concerned, because I'm just like that. I have a pet peeve. Even when I'm at work and I'm talking to people, if I find out that they are on the road and, it's raining, hey, you mind if it's okay if I can call you back? That way you're off the road. Or is there any way you can maybe pull to the side of the road so I can? And usually I get pretty cool, laid back people. Yeah, man, no problem. Sorry, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. Yeah, give me a couple of seconds here. How's your day going so far? Yeah, it's pretty good. How about you? Whatever, right? But he noted in the video before it was pulled, and one thing that I did enjoy thoroughly, by the way, of that video, I love the great camera view that we had of Maria Manic's thigh. You know, I know Mish got a thing for knees. I got a thing for thighs, and just looking at her thigh, I just couldn't help but go, tasty. Yeah, you just nice little jiggle to it. It's nice little. I don't need too much jiggle. I just need the right amount of jiggle that's to it. She's just rocking it back and forth. I loved it. I loved it. But no, he noted in the video that after the Ring of Honor Free Enterprise event, which he was there visiting and all that, he left Maria Manic at the hotel that they were staying at and all. And he decided to, in the hotel where they were staying at, it was in Maryland. And he decided he was going to drive to Virginia to get some marijuana, right? Now, what I want to know is, okay, and obviously, based on the fact that he had, I wish I could remember the friend's name, but he basically had said, some friend you aren't really a friend. So I'm kind of under the impression that, maybe he kind of got set up by somebody that he was supposed to, buy his shit from or whatever. But he went down to Virginia to get some marijuana. He was alone. Manic had hit her head hard during an angle where she was put through a table. And Hart said that he was pulled over by authorities due to an ongoing issue with his license plate not matching the registration for his vehicle, something he claimed had been taken care of, and that when authorities searched his car, that's how they found the marijuana and the steroids. And according to the current court records, as we told you about the schedule and all that, so there's really no reason to reiterate it again. But Hart did bring up the fact that as far as everything that occurred, he hoped that by what he put out there, it clears the situation up, and honestly, he can get back out there on the road, start wrestling again in various promotions and everything. And let me tell you something. As somebody that has been a native of the DC, Maryland, Virginia area now for almost 30 plus years, Virginia, you do not want to play around with. In Virginia, law enforcement does not play that. They do not fucking play that. There is a high standard that they have in, Virginia. Many of the counties in Virginia, rich fucking counties and everything. And, Richmond, if you're going to do this shit in maybe Spotsylvania or maybe, Warrington or Fauquier, but really Virginia as a whole, you're going to be doing some shit. You don't want to be doing it in Virginia, right? You want to, you want some weed, you want some LSD, you want some spice or whatever your fucking kink is. You want to go to DC. Particularly, you want to go to Southeast, right? That's just the God's honest truth, right? I'm not a drug user in any type of way, but when you've grown up in the DC metropolitan area and, you've, lost friends to, drug violence and all this other shit, friends, associates and all that, you just know the parts, where the fuck, stay away from there. You just fucking know. And so, for him to go down to Virginia is all I got to say. And I say that because when I say Virginia don't play around, they don't play around. So he may not get a slap on the wrist is what I'm saying, right? He, if he's lucky, he may have to pay that fine. He may get probation if he's lucky. But I'm like this. If you've had this issue before with your tags, I'm sorry, but if I'm pulled over just 2 times with regards to my tags and something about it ain't matching the car or whatever, all right, it's time for me to go down to the DMV and be going, okay, look, these are the issues that I'm having. What can we do to rectify this? What can we do to maybe get me a new license plate? Because I keep getting pulled over by the cops and everything.
what can we do to try to, correct this, right? And, for some, depending on, what you're doing for a living, for some, not for, it's not exactly, oh, it's just $20, for some, it can be rather expensive for them to, cough up 50, 60, 70, 100 plus something dollars or triple digits to, try to take care of something like that. But, honestly, if it means you're not going to be in this fucked up position where you keep getting pulled over, right, and your shit ain't matching up, I'm sorry, twice for me is more than enough. To each its own. But, it's really unfortunate. But I got to tell you something. That was the first time that I had heard Teddy Hart in a long time where not only did I understand what the hell he was saying, but number two, he sound pretty sane. He sound, very reasonable. And so, I mean, if one good thing really had came out of, him currently being incarcerated and all that, it's that, okay, you've had some time, now your head's kind of clearing up a little bit and everything, right? So, it makes me happy to, to at least hear that type of good come from out of it and everything. But, sometimes you need a moment like what he's experiencing right now. We all have had our moment where we go, I gotta change. I gotta change for the better because I've been operating so far. This ain't on point. I gotta switch it up, right? Yeah, I gotta change the way, whether it's, your eating habits or you name it, you get it. It's like, I gotta switch the game up. It's time. I gotta grow the fuck up. So, we'll see what happens with him. But honestly, this is probably the best thing that could possibly happen for him, because it gets him away from all those narcotics that he usually uses. Now, look, that doesn't mean that once he gets out, right? But hopefully this puts him in a position where, because he's already in his 40s, is he not? I think he's in his early 40s. Okay, so where do you want to be when you're 45? Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be in your life when you're 50? Because it's literally right around the corner. So, what do you want to do with yourself, right? So hopefully for the time that he's in there, right? But yeah, I'm wishing him the best. Just seeing all that stuff that they're going through, it's kind of sad. It really is. It really is. Speaking of sad, can I give a shout out to Jason Solomonster? I don't know how many of you guys had heard about this, but Jason Solomonster, definitely consider him a friend. I remember, way before he even did the whole YouTube thing, there was a time where, at our strongest, as far as the go-to for, wrestling shows on YouTube, originally it was me, Bruce Blitz. See who else was running around? John View Entertainment. There was only like there's at the time like 5 guys as far as like most popular that, these are your go-to. We were the 5 OGs, long before Jason and everybody else, so you got to rewind it back to 2011, basically 2011, going into 2012. We were the original OGs for YouTube. Pro Wrestling Report, definitely want to put them in the mix as well. Shout out to my friend, well, actually not my friend, but acquaintance in Damian Nelson. And, when Jason had embraced YouTube, I was ecstatic for him because I felt, yeah, great fucking voice and, yeah, he's going to do good. But Jason came across some hard times in the form of a community strike for his YouTube channel by AEW. Now, anybody that's checked out his shows knows that, Jason, he don't play no AEW audio. He doesn't show any AEW video. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly what happened. But it kind of sounds like something similar that maybe had occurred to Bruce Blitz. Bruce Blitz, I didn't particularly care for his style, but I respected his hustle. I really did because, he was doing multiple shows a week. He was doing about 4 or 5 he was all over the place. And it wasn't just covering the wrestling. He was covering sports as well. So I mean, I remember it got to a point where I could have sworn Bruce was at one point doing at least 5 to 7 shows a week on YouTube. And I remember one of the many final nails in the coffin was anytime he had something not particularly fond to say of the WWE product and he ripped it a new asshole, you have fans that did not like that, and they try to figure out some type of way to get his account in trouble and everything. And eventually, I remember he made quite a few accounts. I think it took probably the third, fourth, or fifth attempt where he just said, fuck it. And now Bruce Blitz is just strictly, well, at least, and I haven't checked up on him in a couple of years, so I don't even know if he's still doing this thing, but I remember Bruce Blitz went strictly subscription based, paid subscription based. So the only way you could check out his content, you had to go to his website and you had to sign up that way. So I don't know if this was a case where somebody didn't quite like some of the things that Jason had to say about AEW, and which it really sucks because not for nothing, Jason was on the cruise. Jason went on the Jericho cruise and he shared many pics with AEW guys and all that. He's constantly, the few times that I've listened to him do his AEW recaps, because normally when it comes to us Wednesday nights, we're both live at the same time. There's many of us that's all on air at the same time. So it's refreshing when I get somebody that pops in, 30 minutes or an hour after, one of their shows is ended, and they pop in my joint and they say, holy shit, Lee's, like, that's the same thing that, such and such had said. Wow, you guys think just alike. It's like, well, thanks for the compliment. Appreciate that. But yeah, your guess is as good as mine what happened with his channel and everything. Now, apparently AEW had, said, oh, well, we took care of it. You should be good to go. But YouTube is saying, no, we haven't gotten that confirmation from them. So no, you're not good to go. So sadly, as a result of what's going on with Jason, he's not going to be able to stream live. That's where he's hurting right now. He can still do the uploading and all of that. Now, I wonder if the uploading has been hurt tremendously. It really depends because, depending, sometimes your length can be reduced dramatically. As well as receiving that strike. So I'm not really sure. But AEW, I know for a fact there's definitely a couple of cats in AEW that makes their rounds, checking out what different podcasts have to say about, their brand and everything. And I know that I've been one of the main advocates where I've given constructive criticism. And the next thing you know, something that I've said very specifically, ends up, if not the very next week, 2 weeks later, plays out on AEW and everything. Hey, AEW. Please, look into that. Jason's one of the good guys, man. He's, as far as people that is very pro AEW, you want to have a guy like that on your side. So anything you can do to kind of rectify that situation greatly, it really would be appreciated. And I actually have a few contacts in YouTube. I'm going to try to see if maybe I can, reach out to them and, see if maybe they can try to do a little something, look into the matter or whatever. And fingers freaking cross. That's something that I respect the dude tremendously, and I consider him a friend. So it's like when you fuck with one of my friends, as far as I'm concerned, you're fucking with me as well. But hopefully, yeah, because that suspension or that strike, it ain't gonna go off until I think he said May. So that's real fucked up what's going on. But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else I want to get into on tonight's show. Shout out to Kathy Kelly, who had revealed during a Q&A, post NXT TakeOver Portland, she was hosting it with Triple H and everything. It was revealed that, what she did there with Triple H, that was pretty much her last WWE obligation, as she's leaving the company and everything. And that's pretty unfortunate. That fucking sucks. Hey, she's going on to bigger and better things. Remember what was going on with Vic Joseph? A lot of people were kind of speculating what was going on with Vic Joseph. Why did he get removed from Monday Night Raw? What the hell is going on? I believe it's with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and if I'm incorrect, I will post the update in the comment section. But he has a new broadcasting gig, I believe, revolving around the Cleveland Cavaliers. So maybe that's one of the reasons why. I know some people are trying to make something out of nothing, but maybe that's the reason why. And for all we know, maybe Vic Joseph had said, hey, look, this is something that I've been very passionate about, and I'm not trying to leave WWE, but, this is a great opportunity for me, not to mention, I'm sure WWE's kind of like, no, yeah, for sure. And they're probably also thinking from a PR standpoint, man, he's got his feet in there. Hey, that's another olive branch that WWE connects to and everything. No, yeah, go ahead, do it. It's no problem. So I know there was some concerns being put out there, hey, what's going on? What the fuck? But, now you kind of know what's going on. I do want to leave you guys on this tip, which is the big event. I don't know how many of you guys are aware of them. They've got an event, wrestling little convention. You can basically, go and meet legends, do photo ops, autographs, all basically nothing but wrestling. They got an event that's going to be coming up on March 7th of this year, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be going down at the LaGuardia Plaza Hotel, 104-04 Ditmars Boulevard, East Elmhurst, New York. And if you want to book your room, call the hotel at 718-457-6300. To book rooms at a discounted rate, use the code BIGEVENTNY. So like New York, Big Event NY. But check this out again. This is going to be going down in New York on March the 7th. Gangrel is going to be there. The Undertaker is going to be there. Yeah, the Undertaker is going to be there. Know how much it costs to do his meet and greet? $200. And keep in mind, for all of these people that are there, just because you pay for your photo op and autograph, you do your combo or whatever you decide you want to buy, that does not get you through the door. You still need to pay a separate fee just for getting into the event, right? But Undertaker is going to be there. God, if I didn't have to deal with the wedding, not that it's a nuisance or anything like that, but you guys have no idea. There's been so many, nope, can't do it, nope. On top of Undertaker being there, Braun Strowman will be there. Bret Hart, Kevin Nash, Sergeant Slaughter, Tito Santana, the Killer Bees, Greg Gagne, Mr. Hughes, the guys formerly known as the Ascension, Terry Funk, Amy Weber, Joy Giovanni. Remember Joy Giovanni? Jackie Haas. Used to be the wife of Charlie Haas. Vetta Scott. Jamie Noble. Charles White, a.k.a. Papa Shango. Alex Riley. Chuck Palumbo. Little Guido, a.k.a. Nunzio. Francine. The Orient Express. Scott Hall. Psychosis, Axe and Smash of the Demolition, Eve Torres, Christy Hemme, Lita, Charlie Caruso, Max Moon, Georgia Smith, Bob Orton, Jake the Snake Roberts, Tony Atlas, Sonny Beach, Funaki, Mike Rome, Sean Yumagachi, Scott Stanford, Jimmy Hart, Andrew Anderson, Kevin Sullivan, Cortez Castro, Jeremiah Constantine, formerly known as Abraham Washington. Did I mention Jimmy Hart? Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty great. So you got a little bit of something for everybody, right? So if you're going to be in the New York area, check that out. Once again, get all your ticket information and everything. BigEventNY.com. Just go to BigEventNY.com. And get all the information on there, and a lot of the prices are pretty affordable. But for those of you, take her, $200 is how much it costs. And on that note, hey, I do want to recognize some of our sponsors as we get ready to wrap out here. I told you guys I didn't mind going a little longer because I was feeling a lot better here. Let's see here. I want to recognize some of our sponsors. as we get ready to wrap it up. Shout out to the good folks behind the movie President Evil. Just days before the November midterm elections, 3 girls are stalked by a deranged killer that's dressed as the president of the United States. Check it out. It's on Amazon, right? It's a comedy, dark comedy, right? Check that out. Also, we're brought to you in part by the good folks over at Leafy Legal Services. If you are a real estate investor or maybe you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to figure out ways to strategically grow your business with great success and wealth, the good folks at Leafy Legal Services can assist. Check them out at leafyassets.com. That's leafyassets.com. And see, anybody else that I'm missing as far as sponsors go? No, that's really it. Now, last week, you guys will recall, I was noticing an issue that was going on with somebody that officially we're no longer promoting now, but it was watchshopus.com. And it turns out these guys had been around for 10 years, apparently. And remember on last week's show, I told you guys, hey, I'm not sure what's going on, but when you go on their website, says that the account has been suspended or whatnot, you know? And so I did a little bit of digging around and everything, and it would appear that, you know, they just decided that, you know, okay, we're just gonna temporarily shut down operations. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but they did decide to shut down operations. So if you had purchased anything from those guys and you have documented proof, reach out to me through our social media and we'll try to see if we can, you know, help you guys out in any type of way as far as, you know, taking the necessary resources to help you get your money. And if push comes to shove, you know, if we need to get down and dirty and we need to get, you know, the law involved, then so be it. But, you know, I definitely don't think in my heart of hearts there was anything shady going on with them. Because like I said, they've been around since, you know, 2000, since 2000. Because I remember seeing them as early as 2010 when I was doing my research on them, you know, figuring out if I wanted to partner up with them, because I research everybody that wants to be advertisers and all that with the show. I do my full research, make sure everything is on point. And these guys were actually, you know, they're pretty very cordial. I got my money on time, you know, the agreed upon date for the work that I was doing for them. So, you know, there was no issues whatsoever. I'm just saying, if there's any of you RCWR Nation that purchase anything from them, you know, you haven't got your goods yet, you know, wait about maybe, you know, another week and then get in contact with me. Let me know what the fuck is going on. And like I said, I got the 411. I can definitely, guys, you know, hook you up. You know, got a friend of the family that's, you know, a lawyer and everything. Push come to shove, we can definitely do what we can to help you guys out. But I haven't heard anything so far, so that's actually a pretty good thing. So, but we are going to do more of a rigorous task and making sure that when we do work with folks again, you know, on top of, you know, hey, you know, how long have you been around, you know, blah this, blah that, you know, we're going to make sure that without that potential client feeling, damn, what the fuck, you know, we are going to make sure we do our best to ensure that, you know, something like that does not happen again. Now, you know, not for nothing, but as long as we've been doing this, which has been since 2011, that's the first time I've ever with a client, that's the first time I've ever seen something like that happen. So hopefully it could be another case where it never happens again. Or if it were to happen again once every 10 years, yeah, I'm okay with that. All right, so your next edition of the RCWR show, we're going to be coming at you on Wednesday night of February the 19th. We'll be coming on as soon as AEW and WWE NXT goes off the air. So check that out. That's going to be a really good show. We're going to go all over the place once again. Your boy was binge watching on MLW. Between now and then, I'm going to be binge watching on ROH. I'm also going to be binge watching on NWA Power. So it's going to be a very, very fun, well-rounded episode. I already went through about I think at least 5 to 7 episodes of MLW during the weekend. So I got all of those out the way. I'm excited. You know, I usually like to talk about those promotions, you know, kind of when I've watched, you know, 3-4 episodes rather than just, you know, every single week. Not unless something really popping had went down. But I'm looking forward to Wednesday. We'll be going a lot more all over the place. Meantime, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you may have missed, available on demand and on the downloads. I can't stress it enough. Been getting a lot of great praise for that 7th annual Slow Jamming with Lee event that we had dropped on Valentine's Day. Go check that out. I had a lot of fun putting that whole special together. And the survey's already been made. I just have to launch it. I will be asking you guys for feedback for future slow jamming editions. I'm starting off just asking you guys as far as next year goes and everything. So be on the lookout for that. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR show. To those that had checked out the show live, appreciate it. Hey, for those of you that's going to be checking out the show on demand and on the downloads, appreciate the love and the support as always. And until next go round, I'm wishing all y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Adios.